It's another beautiful Monday morning, and it is a brand new week. It's that time to take a look at stories in the papers, major stories, headlines, everything that has you and me talking. We dive in, make sense of it all, and of course, get you in on the conversation by getting your thoughts and contributions as well. Welcome along to the first installment of Freshly Pressed for this brand new week here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love live, 31 minutes past 7 a.m. Ayokunmi here. And it's going to be an interesting morning as it always is. So please do join us and make it even more spectacular. WhatsApp, beg your pardon, is what I was going to say. I don't know, I was thinking West Ham. Well, football season is close. Anyways, WhatsApp number is 0809 is the WhatsApp number. You can also hop on the YouTube stream at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave your comments in the chat box as well. Those are the ways you can be a part of the show this morning. I'm talking about the show. Joining me to give their analysis and some perspective, Mr. C, and of course, AB Bozimo are with me. Good morning to you, AB.
Good morning, Mr. Ayo. Good morning, Mr. C. And good morning to all of the wonderful listeners out there, wherever you are. Go forth into this week in a productive, practical, and positive manner.
Yes, indeed. Mr. C, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, AB. Good morning, Lagos.
Alrighty, let's jump right into the nitty-gritty. Head first into the stories. We're jumping into the Vanguard, first of all, and heading to Edo State. Of course, if you've been following what's been going on over the weekend and late since last week or thereabouts, where Governor of Edo State, Gov Okpebholo, made a couple of statements. Now, yesterday, he clarified his comments, barring Peter Obi from coming into the state without clearance, saying it was not a threat, but a directive on issues of protocol. He, however, said there are moral and spiritual issues to giving, which are not supposed to be issues for publicity. Now, this whole thing came up during a defection rally in the state on Friday. He said that Peter Obi should not come into the state without clearance from the government. Mr. C, as far as I know, I haven't dusted my law books in like 50 years. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but every Nigerian has the right to move around the country freely without fear for their lives and safety. So I don't know what the governor of Edo State is all about. And it's also interesting that something similar happened with the governor of Benue State as well, a couple of months ago or thereabouts as well. So what is this whole thing about warning Nigerian citizens about not coming into the state without clearance protocol and so on and so forth? What is going on here?
Okay. Thank you, Ayo. So there are a number of things to unpack from this story. Now, the first thing to unpack, the two governors involved are APC governors. And the APC is becoming increasingly intolerant of opposition activities, despite what they say to the contrary. Now, we have constitutionally guaranteed rights as Nigerians under the 1999 Constitution as amended. Section 41 says, and I'm going to read it verbatim, every citizen of Nigeria is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria and to reside in any part thereof. And no citizen of Nigeria shall be expelled from Nigeria or refuse entry thereto or exit therefrom. There is a caveat. Even though this right is constitutionally guaranteed, it is not absolute, and it can be subject to certain limitations due to public safety, public order, public morality, public health, etc. Having said that, the drafters of the Constitution were clear in their minds and their thoughts when they put this clause together. I think it is interesting or concerning that a state governor will take unto himself the right to determine who enters the state or not. This same governor, they're unidentified, armed non-state actors preventing your farmers in your state from accessing their farmlands. Have you given them this directive? Have you done anything about it? This is a governor that his state is ravaged by court clashes almost every day or every other day. Now, he's now backtracking and saying he's clarifying. And my point is this, we were discussing this before the show, Ayo. If you made a proper statement, there'll be no need to clarify anything because it will be simple and everybody will understand it. He's only doing this because there's been an incredible backlash from the citizenry. And this is how dictatorship slips in. One person says something that is clearly unconstitutional, clearly illegal, clearly unlawful, and nothing happens. The second person tries it. Before you know it, it's full-blown chaos and disorder. You can liken it to the activities of commercial bike riders. When they want to set up their parks, the first person comes the first thing, parks his bike for 10 minutes. Nothing happens. The next day, he's there for 20 minutes. Nothing happens. He calls his friend, let's chill here. 25 minutes, 30 minutes. By the end of the week, you have a full-blown illegal motorbike park. Now, I have a question for the Edo State government. You say that because Mr. Obi is a politically exposed person, he must get clearance or consent from you before coming to the state. If he doesn't do it and he comes to your state, are you going to arrest him? And if you arrest him, what offense did he commit? Why is that directive only issued to Mr. Obi? Is Mr. Obi known to have been violent throughout his entire life? Has he been indicted or accused of any form of violence directly or indirectly?
That's a good question.
If other politically exposed persons, apart from Mr. Obi, enter your state, Mr. Governor, are you going to arrest any of them? And if you do, pursuant to what law? What offense would you be arresting them for? Supposedly, we say we run a democracy, right? And there's supposedly freedom of speech, freedom of opinion. But it's becoming increasingly clear that that is not what is truly playing out. And this is a clarion call for the people. We need to protect our rights. It's like the animal farm. When boxers started reducing their rights, reducing the things they used to get, at first they were quiet. By the time they allowed him to continue, it was a full-blown dictatorship. So we cannot allow one individual to say something like this and get away with it. And it's a good thing he was called out on it. And he must remember, whether he likes it or not, he may not like Mr. Obi, he may not like his politics, but there are Nigerians who like the man for who he is. They like his brand of politics. And right now, we're literally on the edge. The wrong move can set up a chain reaction that nobody will like. Edo State is not your birthright, it's not your inheritance. He is a Nigerian. He's entitled to move freely. And if he's not causing any trouble, he's not causing any security disturbances, you let him be. Now, all this sermonizing about giving should be private. Mr. Governor, he's not worshiping you. He's not following you. He follows his creator. If his creator has a problem with the way he goes about doing what he does, his creator will speak to him. You are not the appointed mouthpiece of his creator. Every man should be left to face his creator and let the creator deal with the man the way he sees fit.
Alrighty. Some words there to the Edo State government. It's very interesting the things that happen and that we see that go on in Nigeria each and every single day. But hey, I'm not complaining. It brings us to the table every morning at 7:30 here on Freshly Pressed, really and truly. Right, maybe. Let us keep things going here, and we're going to continue the conversation. Still staying in the vanguard, and this one is an interesting one. Because the movement for the creation of Anyoma states, proposed as the sixth state in Nigeria's southeast region, continues to gain momentum nationwide. Documents cited by Vanguard in Abuja on Sunday reveal that 90 senators, including principal officers and other influential members of the 10th National Assembly, have signed in support of the proposal. a number of among the signatures are key figures such as Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin, Senate Leader Michael Okwemba, Senate Minority Leader as well Abba Patrick Moro um, is in endorsement of that. Now, the number of endorsements has exceeded the constitutional two-thirds threshold. 7 senators required to advance bills through the Senate. A lot of other talk involving this one, but let's just look at this from an umbrella aspect, really. I mean, there's been calls for more states in the Southeast region and so on and so forth. And looking at where we are right now and how things are kind of shaped, and also everything that needs to go into setting up a new state right from scratch. Is this a conversation that really and truly is realistic in itself?
Well, when you look at that, the 6 fingers of a leprous hand, that's Nigerian political structure seems to be where you have Northwest, North Central, Northeast, Southwest, Southeast, and South South. In fact, one of those amazing things, Nigeria is the only country that has South so good they had to name it twice. You have only the Southeast having 5 states, one other zone, I think the Northwest having 7, and then 6 everywhere else. So from that very, very broad perspective, you could say creating this Anioma state would be attempting to at least rebalance that kind of, distribution. Still not, we're not going to take anyone from anywhere, but at least let the Southeast have this so-called minimum 6 states. Then secondly, yes, it takes a lot in terms of proclamation and then establishing the structure of a state, the National Assembly, the State Assembly and all that. But there are countries that are the size of Oshodi that are doing very well. So I see there's no problem in my mind about the people of that area feeling that they want to be agglomerated in a way under one state headline and then seeking what is considered to be the best for them. I would only say that in the context of all else that's going on, it must be possible for us to walk and chew gum at the same time. While this is being pursued, like they say, they're getting lots of support in the Senate and all that, the current lives of the people, their security and safety must be prioritized so that whether or not this state comes to being, those people who live there, because we hear stories every day of, herdsmen of all sorts coming to come and create mayhem in some of these areas. And this should stop whether there's a state there or not. So I think at that very broad level, Anioma states can have a place among the committee of states in Nigeria. The question then is now, what is the purpose of a state? How does it, look after the needs, desires, and aspirations of those who inhabit that state? Do we have any states in Nigeria right now that are, worthy of emulation? Would this be a state that would start the patterns that are worthy of emulation? Because looking around us, how the country is right now, we have not yet shown that these states, by name or anything, are doing the best that they can for the Nigerians. I take the example all the time of electricity. When the president helped promulgate a law that should take the states into control of the electricity sector, and out of 36 of them existing and the FCT, only 7 have looked at it, and out of the 7, only 4 have actually been active. So what are the states doing? What would Anioma State do differently? These are questions worth experimenting with. But as I say, on that rebalancing level, yes, let them go ahead and create Anioma State. If all the 36 states are useless, let the 37 one join them in being useless. Or let that 37 state be the one that leads the way into being useful for the people.
It's interesting that you talk about that, AB. I mean, if the basis for all this is just, oh, let's keep things balanced, I mean, that's a very myopic way of looking at things, because a very big question that jumps out is how exactly is the state supposed to sustain itself? I mean, okay, of course, you talk about FAC allocations and all that, that's another story entirely. But how exactly is it supposed to sustain itself? Because we already have a handful of states in the country that are struggling, as it were, really struggling. I mean, apart from a handful of states, a lot of other states.
We have a handful of states that are viable. No, Ayo. We have a handful of states that are viable. The rest of them are largely irrelevant to the lives of people. I say this and it sounds funny, but they have commissioners who just wait for every 30 days. It's going to be, today is 21st. Soon they will be back in Abuja waiting for that handout. Instead of them to see themselves as contributing members to a nation, and first of all, starting with their states, productive, they are not productive. So I'm just saying, again, really, I feel that this should be one of the last priorities in a state like, in a country, state like Nigeria. Really, there are many other priorities, but if there are going to be 36, almost 36 useless states, let the people of Anioma have their own useless state to join. That's all I'm saying, because I'm not seeing what use 99% of Nigerian states are to the people of those states right now.
I've listened to both of you carefully, and I agree with most of what you said. I just have a slight divergence. We don't have a handful of states, we have a pinch.
Okay, exactly. I mean, I just want to make sure I'm not getting it. There are many states that do nothing for anybody except the governor, the House of Assembly members, and the hangers on. The rest of the people are in misery. Facts.
All right, let me take a couple of messages before I come back to you, Mr. C. Stan says, existing states are currently terrified by terrorists and bandits with much suffering and hunger. I feel, in my opinion, they want to stylishly create a state that would be like Fulanis to states. Stan, could you take a look at that message?
No. Existing states are currently terrified by terrorists and bandits with much suffering and hunger. I feel, in my opinion, they want to stylishly create.
Okay, that would link. The editor that link for this, because that was like before. So I was trying to understand what you're trying to say. Thank you for your message, Stan. Okay, let me sneak in another one here. This is Paddy in Okota says, Nigerians keep putting very immature people into office. Edo State Governor is one of them. And the mechanic just says, I'm not blaming the Edo governor, but INEC and judiciary that allow the emergence of half-baked humans as our leaders. If the head is rotten, what do you expect? What do you expect from the mouth? Okay. Who is this here? Ade Lagos says, when the purpose of the thing is not known, abuse or misuse is inevitable. For Monday Okpebholo, that came in through the back door, talking out of ignorance to Peter Obi, all because of politics. The same person that couldn't say anything during their governorship campaign that Shomile was being his spokesperson. The same person that couldn't call out figures of billions in his budget of the state. The same person that is emulating. I say this every day. You want to put me in trouble. I refuse to fall into that trap. But point very well taken. Thank you very much for your message. All right, let's get back into the conversation. Mr. C, we're talking about the police right now. They are in the news once again, heading into the Guardian. The Nigerian police force has responded to planned demonstrations by retired police officers expected to take place on Monday, that's today, over pension concerns, stating that the agitation for exit from the contributory pension scheme, CPS, is a long-standing issue and not a recent development. I'll let you take it from here. Interesting developments coming out of this.
Yes, it is. So, as we're all aware, there have been agitations by retired police officers of the Nigerian police force protesting their non-exit from the contributory pension scheme. Now, we're reading the story basically is a statement from the force public relations officer stating that this is a long-standing issue. And I'm truly ashamed to hear this. It's a long-standing issue. What have you done about it? What does it take? What will it take for this to be sorted out? These are people who've given their lives in service of this country. A few weeks ago, was it last month, there was a retired superintendent of police or chief superintendent of police. After 35 years, he was supposed to collect 3 million and was only offered 2 million, and he rejected it. Now, the question here is whether it's 2 million or 3 million, that is completely ridiculous. I'm sorry. You have an individual who goes to the Senate, has no positive impact on the floor. You barely even know he exists there or in the House of Representatives. At the end of 4 years, if he's not re-elected, he goes away with a severance package. You can imagine how big that package is. Why do we not value the people who put in the work properly? And this pension issue is not restricted to the police. It's widespread.
Yeah.
What exactly is the issue? People have put in the work, give them their money. The political class never has salaries, allowances, or severance packages delayed.
And they're all humongous.
And when you compare the volume of work and quality of work done, it pales in insignificance. Now, it's interesting that the IGP has given instructions to state commissioners of police that they should provide security for the protesters to ensure that the protests are not disrupted or hijacked. If this was a civilian-led protest, he would say the protest should be shut down, that they've received intelligence and that to protect public security, they have to shut it down. But because it is their own, they are now constrained to recognize the right of people to protest. Now, interesting, we're also talking about this, and you asked the question, would they tear gas their own? Unlikely. Now, the PRO also says that some of the grievances are genuine, the others, they're being emotionally manipulated, marred by misinformation. The question is simple. Are these men owed money? Yes or no? It's as simple as that. Leave all these stories of manipulation, of disinformation. That's not the issue. Are they being owed? If yes, why? When do you plan to pay? Because they keep saying, oh, we're talking about it. We have been engaging with you. Don't go on the protest. The Police Service Commission said, oh, they shouldn't proceed on the protest, that the issues are being discussed. In Nigeria, the term issues are being discussed means absolutely nothing. It doesn't mean anything. In a serious country or an ideal country, it would mean a lot. But hey, it carries no weight. And sadly, government institutions, the executive at federal, state levels, are only moved when there's a strike. When they have ample notice to deal with issues, they don't. Guess what? Civil servants in Ogun State are on strike. They've been on strike for a week. Why are they on strike? Again, issues that are not being addressed. What will it take to address the issues? Suspend security votes for a few months, address the issues. Because if the people putting in the work are unhappy and can't do the work properly, we all suffer.
And it's very important work they're doing.
Now, you are treating retired police officers this way. The ones who are still in service are seeing what you're doing. They're not blind, they're not daft, they're not stupid. And you want corruption to stop. Let's keep deceiving ourselves.
Let's keep deceiving ourselves. AB, go to weigh in.
Just, I think it's really very amazing how the political class, who are the number one people being protected by the police, are mistreating the police. I don't know whether they actually have a sense of self and look at themselves and understand how much at risk they are putting themselves. But let me leave it at that.
Alrighty. Cisco Delgado says, Monday Okpebholo is a very funny man. Someone who can't read the simple document before the Edo people is now ranting about Peter Obi's visit to the state without approval. This is very absurd coming from a state governor. Anyways, I'm not surprised because he's a confused governor. He also says, creation of a new state in the Southeast is not a problem, but marginalization of Southeast from taking part in the helm of affairs in Nigeria should be the major issue to actually be addressed. And AB is absolutely correct. Let me take one more here. Excuse me. Stan says, so funny that most states don't contribute any IGR to the economy. Instead of merging some useless states to make one state, they want to create more states. So clueless, I must say. All right. Thank you very much for all the messages. All right, AB, let's step into the Guardian here, where the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, has issued a stern warning to President Bola Tinubu over his continued failure to appoint ambassadors to Nigeria's foreign missions, describing the prolonged diplomatic vacuum as a national embarrassment with dire consequences for Nigeria's foreign relations. In a statement released on Sunday by its National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, the party lamented that Nigeria has been without officially accredited ambassadors since 2023, when the Tinubu administration recalled 109 ambassadors from missions across the globe, a situation the ADC described as unprecedented and dangerous as well. The ADC have been very vocal recently, but I want to leave the messengers out of this and just talk about the message in question. The fact that we're still in this situation in 2025.
That was exactly my approach. It doesn't matter who is saying this. The very fact that the president withdrew all the ambassadors, so he knew that there was a cadre of people, withdrew them, and has not seen it fit over the past 2 years to actually replace them, shows for me administrative negligence and incompetence, because this is purely an administrative task. If you put 365 days together times 2, you are 700 and something days. You mean that in that 700 and something days, in innumerable, over 104 FEC meetings and things that came after that, the president has not seen it fit to put in place. And I'm not saying you have to employ all of them in one day, 109, but to break it down into segments of the world, continents, and so on, it just shows that there is, I talk about a crisis of competence assailing the current administration when things like this come up. And this is a prime example. This is administrative. It's not rocket science. There are 200 plus million Nigerians. There are at least 20 million who can easily fit into those things. You can do your security cross checks and all that. For you not to do it, it just means, as I've said on a lighter note, that the president sees himself as the ambassador of Nigeria, hence his proclivity to travel all over the world, left and right. And the most upsetting sight for me is seeing some people shaking his hand into an aeroplane. Then we see another TV thing where those same people are shaking his hand to receive him. Why? There's no ambassador in the country, so the people have to travel with him and be the boy on the ground. I just think it is irresponsible. It is heedless. It is not truly recognizing the importance of a diplomatic cadre. And yes, as was said in the story, there are certain conversations and things that cannot be carried out just by one charge d'affaires, or there are consular activities that cannot be carried out readily or have to be sent back to the country. It's not proper, it's unseemly, and it is once again grossly incompetent on the part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his chief of staff and all that, because I don't, again, expect the president alone to do this. I expect those around him to be the ones bringing these memos to his desk. For him not to do them, there's just incompetence writ large in him, from him, and around him.
Mr. C, I mean, concerning this issue, I mean, last we heard they were vetting candidates in April. That's last we heard.
In addition to the extreme low levels of competence, there's even a more pressing issue. There's actually no money to send anybody anywhere. That's the gospel truth. How long does it take? But the same people have been doing clearances for people appointed to commissions, government bodies, and parastatals within Nigeria. So it's just sad. And one of the fallouts of this complete absence of ambassadors and high commissioners is the recent US policy. If we had an ambassador in place, he would have started to engage long before now, would have informed his superiors in Abuja that this is where we're headed to. How do we stave this off? But we don't have ambassadors, we don't have high commissioners, yet we're told we have a vibrant and active foreign policy. Who are the spirits pushing this policy?
Excuse me. All right, let me just run up with your messages really quickly. Jerry says, do you blame Gov Okpebholo? Our judiciary is to be blamed. What did he do? A man that cannot even spell his name is talking where sound-minded intellectuals prevail. Jerry, how do you know he cannot spell his name? How do you know? The worst of us ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a nation. Please, will the president be on the ballot again, despite all those cases against him? that the Supreme Court didn't touch on. He further says, Mr. C, please don't feel for the police. Were they not the ones who rose to tear gas us at various peaceful protests, some of which would have been to their benefits? Ayo in Festac says, I beg, AB, can you confirm if this administration held up to 20 FEC meetings during the 700 days plus they didn't appoint diplomats?
I'm guessing.
Question. Joseph Menier says, it's just appalling and disgusting of the issues in Edo State and in the nation for the Edo State governor to put out that threatening statement as the new sheriff in town. What exactly has Peter Obi ever done in the political terrain that just the mention of his name, or if he speaks, every and all guilty individuals are on standby for a response? From that area of Delta, annual creation of any state is more problems because the existing ones aren't independent. May God help Nigeria. All right. Adeboye Gadidiji says the conspiracy of silence by APC chieftains, both in the state and in federal levels, as it concerns the statement of Edo State Governor threatening Peter Obi, shows that the governor has the backing of his political godfathers and the ruling parties. Most Nigerian governors are quick to blame federal security agencies, the IGP and military, for insecurity in their state, but when it suits them, they claim to be the #1 chief security officer of the state to intimidate their rivals. It's a shame on our democracy. And this is Chika. Chika says, the threats made by the Edo State governor that Peter Obi should get a clearance from him before entering the state is an indication that what we currently have in Nigeria is not democracy. Because if this is a democracy, where's the right to movement, freedom, and association? I'm more baffled at a man who cannot read out a figure in the budget, and a man who cannot make a coherent statement without making a blunder is the one carrying out said threat. Barrister Danukuda says the statement coming from Okpebholo is what happens when mediocres and misfits are at the helm of governance. The governor may be ignorant of the constitutional provisions or freedom of movement. Ajayi Olunilowe Magudu Jerry Sherry says it's political rascality for the governor of Edo State to bar any Nigerian, let alone a personality like Mr. Peter Obi, from moving freely and lawfully in his state as guaranteed by the Constitution. It's absolutely uncalled for. And JJ in Ekwe says the governor of Edo State was just talking like someone in a beer parlor with power. Very unbecoming of a governor. But yet again, this is Nigeria. We get what we deserve. All right. And on that note, we got to wrap it up on the show. Thank you all so very much for all the messages and for engaging and keeping it tuned. You are the real MVPs, and the realer MVPs, Mr. C and AB, for making it an interesting morning. Thank you so much, AB.
Thank you all. It's been a privilege joining you this morning. I weep sometimes at the quality of stories that we must oversee, but hey, that's what we do, and we do it with gusto. Everyone, go ahead, have the most productive week you possibly can, despite all of these kind of shenanigans from some of those in office.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, AB. And I just wish everyone this week everything required to align for you to prosper in whatever endeavor you engage in properly aligns, and that everyone receives the joy and peace required to go through this work in a rewarding, profitable, and fruitful manner.
Yes, indeed, people. So just make sure you start the week with your head clear and ask your question sharp. But the loudest voices aren't always the ones that matter. And I will say discernment is your daily armor. Keep it tuned to the show, Smooth Breakfast. 8:15 is a walk into the world of great sporting talk in the local.